Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. We are here tonight with a new guest, Kathryn Davis, who plays Harper on the brand new Lifetime Christmas movie 6 Degrees of Santa. We we are grateful to have you here. Welcome to our
Thank
channel,
you.
Kathryn.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here.
And thank you for being here tonight, of course. Let's begin. What's the main element in Harper's character and the movie in general that fascinates you the most and drew you to join 6 Degrees of Santa?
So, throughout the film, when I was reading the script, I always really admired Harper's determination. That she, prior to the movie starting, she's had a career in Silicon Valley, which hasn't really gone her way. And she uproots, goes back home, takes her kid with her, and is just determined to reconnect to her roots, to her family. And then also with the grassroots company that she has, this 6 Degrees of Santa, this anonymous gift giving program, she's determined to sort of create community and spread Christmas cheer, even though it's anonymous in the way. And she also, throughout the script, if people do get the opportunity to watch it, she's very determined to, I guess, lead Jason down the wrong path, not let him know that anonymous Santa number one is perhaps her. So yeah, definitely her drive and determination is something that drew me to the script.
Yeah, as we know quite well so far, Lifetime movies and shows always feature well-shaped and relatable characters. Where are you and Harper most similar and where most different as human beings?
So Harper, definitely, I think drive wise, I'm similar to her. I'm very family orientated as well. So I have in the movie, I have Kimberly Huey that plays my mom, and Inara that plays my daughter in it. And so we kind of had our own onset sort of family happening, but definitely loyalty to family, protective. And I hope that I do stand up for what I think is right in the world in general. So that's definitely something that Harper stands up for. She's not afraid. I wish I had a pinch more of her courage sometimes because she's not afraid to tell Jason Sparks what she thinks of him, um, what she thinks of the sort of the predicament of her world in a way, and she's quite happy to voice that. And so I'd like a pinch more of that confidence that she has. In terms of difference, I am by no means organized enough a person to have she's just got a skill set, event planning capabilities, like her cooking. I'm not a cook. So I often joke with my parents, I'm like, I need a wife because I'm not a cook. I like eating, but I don't enjoy the prep of it. And she likes making her dad's cookie recipe throughout the film. And definitely her organization skill set, I am lacking somewhat in that. That's where we're different, I think.
Okay. And what's been the biggest challenge for you in portraying Harper?
Biggest challenge, when I read the script, because Harper just seems that she's always on the go. She's constantly moving. She's constantly thinking up new ideas. Very much influenced probably from her job in Silicon Valley, where she was creating, various phone apps and so forth. So for me as an actor, keeping that motor going was the challenge because she's always two steps ahead of almost everyone she's talking to. She's already planning and plotting when she's talking to her mum. And then when she talks to Jason Sparks, she's already two steps ahead because she knows who she is in terms of, I'm giving spoilers, but being Santa number one, she knows that she is the person that sent the book at the beginning of that kind of gift giving process. So she's just determined to, direct him in the wrong way and keep up this guise of helping him but leading him down the wrong path constantly. And so to keep that motor going for me as an actor, I was just sort of wanting to, keep that energy up during a 12 to 14 hour shoot day. It presents its challenges that you just have to stay hydrated. You have to eat sugary substances and stuff just to keep that energy going. So yeah, I think keeping the energy simmering at all times, and almost it feels like you're like a tennis player. Um, TV film is very different. I'm theater trained originally, so when you're on stage, my teachers at theater school and everything, one teacher in particular used to be like, it's like a tennis game. You're throwing a ball, and if you catch the ball and then you don't, expend the
Yeah,
same energy back to your partner, the energy's lost, the game is lost, sort of
yeah,
thing. So it's very, very different in TV and film and everything when you're getting your close-ups and everything, that um to keep that energy passing forward and so forth, when it's take after take after take kind of thing. So I think that would be one of the biggest challenges for me of playing Harper.
sure. To
Energy.
all the fans looking forward to watching the movie, how would you describe 6 Degrees of Santa in just 3 words?
Okay, this one's challenging. I would say, I mean, it's just good old fun, or Christmas magic galore, I would say. It's good people, good humans, lovely story, gorgeous elements of costume and production value and everything. So I think it's just they'll enjoy it. It's good old fun and Christmas magic galore.
Good. What can you tease about Harper's journey throughout the movie?
Tease. Okay, so like a spoiler sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess the movie starts off with Harper returning back from her job. She'd been working for a big tech company out in Silicon Valley, California. And I think she found it wasn't fulfilling her on a human level. And a few of her ideas and so forth were kind of, crashed and burned because they weren't sort of commercial, they weren't money making enough. She was always sort of had that community goal in mind. So she moves back home to New York and works sort of in her dad's store alongside her mom a little bit, and then wants to kind of continue with this. As I said, I call it a grassroots company because it started at her neighborhood community level of this 6 Degrees of Santa gift giving. So she sort of restarts that, and she finally gets a copy of a book that she had when she was little that she absolutely loves because her dad, read it to her. And she finally finds it. And she said, "That's going to be my gift. I'm going to gift that one onwards to Northbound Elf. She's going to gift that onwards to her next anonymous Secret Santa." And the idea of it is that it goes through 6 people, and the 6th person gets to keep the gift. And the sixth person, it may or may not ends up in the hands of her former ex-boss, her nemesis, Jason Sparks. And the rest continues because he wants to know who Santa number 1 is, and Harper doesn't want him to know.
Good. Talking about the environment on set, how would you describe your experience while filming 6 Degrees of Santa? And do you have any fun anecdotes to share?
Oh, yes. I mean, I feel so blessed and so lucky in a way that these films are very, very short shoot dates. We filmed this in early April, and early April in Canada is very, very cold still. So the exterior shoot days were always like a little bit of a challenge, just trying to keep warm and not visibly show that you're shivering on camera. The shoot date itself, I believe this was a 12-day shoot, so it shot over 3 weeks. So generally it's sort of 4 days of filming and then a few days off, 4 days and a few days off, but they're long shoot days. So that has its own challenge, but at the end of the day, we're all in it together. I can't do my job without the crew, and the crew, vice versa. And so I've been very lucky with this production company that I've worked with, that they bring in amazing people. So of course we were filming during a pandemic, which presents its own challenges of keeping everyone safe, but I feel very blessed that I say that every day is magic. I always feel like a huge boost of energy anytime that I'm on, and I'm so lucky to be there. The competition and talent in Toronto and Canada and North America is so high, so I know how blessed I am to have been given the opportunity. So I just sort of always have this energy, and sometimes people remark on it, they're like, how do you how are you not tired? You know, it's sort of like hour 12 or something of the shoot day. And I'm just like, guys, we're making magic here. We're making a movie about Christmas and falling in love. And, you know, there's trees over there and, you know, presents and everything. It's magic from the start to the finish. Um, I think the environment, again, amazing costume department, hair, makeup there. I have everyone doing everything for me before we roll camera, you know, like, so I don't have to worry about anything because there's someone my curls or like making sure I'm not like looking oily and adjusting my shirts and stuff. So I just have to show up and work, like bring choices, um, know my lines and just give them different options and so forth. But I did walk away from this set with wonderful friendships. I still am in contact with some people in my costume department. I met some lovely actors working on it, and the director as well. Michael Kennedy is just wonderful, and he reminds me that how beautiful humans can be. You know, he's so kind, he's so generous. So that would be a story from there. And then fun anecdotes. Oh gosh.
Great.
There were a few. I mean, I have a roller skating scene. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet. There is a scene when I have to roller skate and I'm not very skilled in that department. So I had some training with it before. And Steve Lund, who's my co-star, he's a former hockey player. So he just translated from ice skate to wheels. No problem. He was doing all kinds of tricks and everything. So I know that before that, they knew the costume I was wearing and everything. And it was all about trying to hide padding. So I had elbow pads. So don't look too close on frame. They tried to frame it properly so that you wouldn't see elbow pads and knee pads, wrist guards. I was just sort of like a walking insurance nightmare, I think, on that day in particular. And we were filming in like a city hall with very, very shiny, smooth marble floors. And I never quite sussed out how to brake, how to stop in those roller skates. So let's just say I just clung on to Steve for dear life most of the time. And he was so wonderful at just keeping me upright. He's an amazing actor to work with. I learned a lot from him. So yeah, those were some fun anecdotes, I think.
Thank you for sharing. And if you could choose any other character from 60 Degrees of Santa, apart from Harper, that you would have loved to play, which one would it be and why?
Other character. I mean, I love Harper. Harper's my girl. Um, I really like the character of Zoe, and I liked the camaraderie we had. Myself and Alex Jade, we've still stayed friends to this date. I think Zoe would be fun because she's quite very opposite in me in terms of her social media prowess in the film. Um, I am not good with social media, really. Like my brother keeps telling me, he's like, come on, you gotta work on it, work on it. But I leave it to him. I'm like, please do it for me. I'll pay you. Like I would rather my brother do it because he's very skilled at social media, website designs, he's photographer, actor, director. He's just multi-talented. My brother's ridiculously talented. But Zoe would be fun because she's opposite in terms of her social media obsessiveness. And then she holds down like multiple jobs and passions at the same time throughout. You know, she's got her fashion thing, and then she's also got she's just got a lot of different jobs going. And then also I kind of I liked the character and how not shallow's not the right word to use, but that she's that yeah, she had a little bit of a conceitedness to her, sort of very much like, oh yeah, just throwing things off. And I just found that really amusing because Harper's so opposite that she doesn't put energy into anything that she doesn't really believe in. And I think Zoe, maybe it represents a societal change, I'm not sure. But she was very fun in that way, that she's all game for the deception and everything. So I think that
Yeah,
would have been a fun character.
good. And did you take anything from set, any prop or piece of costume to remember your experience as a Harper?
In terms of costume, I didn't. Um, I do like to keep little pieces of actual set decor because
Okay.
they'll splash. I mean, I filmed a Christmas movie in August, and it's so if you walk in and you're in the middle of winter because there's berries and wreaths and Christmas trees and decorations everywhere. So we often say it's like, the Christmas monster's been through kind of thing. So I like to keep like little pieces of decor, whether it's like a sprig of berries or a bit of tinsel, nothing of value, please, production, hire me back. Because then when I decorate my own Christmas tree, I have little pieces from that. So I did do a Christmas movie in February, and they had like a little tiny bird, and
Yeah.
so I just kept like that bird. And the this one, it was like some of the berries that they have outside the window in her mum's store. When you see
Yeah.
it, there's gorgeous, really bright red berries. Like the production designers were fabulous. The set dressers were great on this movie. So I kept a few berries. And so that when I decorate my tree and everything, it's sort of like, oh, that's from that film and that's from that film kind of thing. And I've done it
Oh,
for a few years. I started doing that in 2020, so 2 years ago, I guess, when I did a Hallmark production called Christmas Carousel, and there was just stuff all over the ground. I'm like, oh, I'll take that, and so I have that in my tree every year. So it's just sort of
yeah.
memory that way.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. And let's talk about your career in general now. Throwing back to the origins of your career, how did the passion for acting come about in your life?
So I've always had performing arts in general. I've always been exposed to it. Like my parents growing up, they would take us to, we lived in I'm from a small town in England called Bath, and that's why I've got the weird accent that hopefully there's no Englishness coming out on in the movie. Um, Growing up there, it was always sort of the first stint before they went on to the West End in London. So we had the opportunity to see a lot of shows, a lot of musicals, pantomimes, ballet. My mum's always loved ballet herself. So I was always exposed from a young age to the various performing arts. And then going up in primary school, we would do an annual musical. So we were always sort of part of that. And but on the other side of things, that my brother and I would constantly there's a movie that we particularly loved. We would sort of act it out, and then that graduated into making our own versions of movies, which then graduated into us being pursuing it as post-secondary education and going to university and studying acting, and then launching into the great career of professional acting afterwards. So yeah, I think that's the origins, definitely, is just the influence that I had from my parents and my mum's my grandmother on my dad's side as well. She loved dancing, so we would go to tap dancing classes and line dancing classes with her sometimes. And so that, if it's sort of in the family and it's part of the culture of your upbringing, is definitely one of the reasons why I ended up, I think, pursuing it as a career. So I always want to make them proud whenever I have the opportunity to work.
Great. And among all the roles you've had the chance to play throughout your career, is there any particular role you most fond of?
Oh, I love I love every character that I get to play and the opportunity of being on set, because you have different stories, different um experiences every single time. In terms of I'll say from my professional career, since sort of leaving theatre school and auditioning and working in that way, um one of my favorite roles still is a movie I shot last year, and it was my first lead role. So it's called Christmas on Fifth Avenue, and I played a character called Eva, and that will always hold a special place because it was a big learning curve for me. I'd always been sort of supporting roles before, so to have the weight of a production on my shoulders, and showing up and working, and figuring out like how much work it is to be a number one or number two on what they call like the call sheet. It is like as soon as you're out of one scene, there's no time to relax. You're being reprocessed, hair, makeup, wardrobe, rehearsal, shoot. So it is like nonstop from, you know, the start of the day to the end of the day. Um, that that production was like the moment that I was able to learn how much rides on it. So that will definitely be one that I'll hold very special, in a special place in my heart there. But then throughout, that has set me up for the next few roles that I've done. So Harper McNevin, like the character that I play in 6 Degrees of Santa, was actually, that's my like third lead role. So you kind of get more into the groove and you feel more comfortable. I like to learn the technical side of things too, in terms of being on a set. And I ask like the DOP questions and I like to see how the framing works and so forth. I think there's a producer director hat under here somewhere. So I'm very curious. So every single time that I return to a set, I feel more confident in the work, that I know what I'm doing. So I can actually focus and learn from in other aspects of it.
Great. And if you had to give an advice to people who want to pursue an acting career, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, advice.
Yes.
So acting is one of the toughest industries, I think. I knew from day one in my theatre school program, there was a class of 26, 27 of us. And the teacher very bluntly said, two of you will work if you're lucky after graduation. So I knew that it was tough in school. You know, they didn't sugarcoat it. They told us like how tough the industry is. When I left, I realized how much tougher it is. So it's been 8 years, I think 8 years that I've been out of school. So it's been me working, auditioning, getting into rooms. There's a lot of rejection with the industry itself and a lot of unknowns. So it's, you know, you might audition one day. Like there's been times I've auditioned for something and it's been 6 weeks and then I find out I've been cast. Or it could be 6 hours that you know. So you never know. And you never know the mark that you're making in a room. It might be that you audition for a role that you're not quite right for that character, but they tag you for something else. So I've had that happen a few times. It led me to working with one company in particular that I wasn't quite right for that role. And then 3 months later, I got an offer for a smaller role, and then I built up, and they were my first lead role, actually. Brain Power Studio, they were very, very generous and gave me my first lead. So yeah, prepare for rejection, but also if it is the path that you know you can't do anything else in terms of life, just don't give up. That's one of the big things, is that there's a lot of competition out there, there's a lot of talent, and with self-taping and because of COVID, the pandemic, everything has gone online, so it's a lot of self-taping. So it is that much harder to not feel that you're falling into a void, because they can call for more talent across North America. And even like into Europe, they're casting out of North America too, because you never know where it's going to come from. So just like, yeah, don't give up.
Okay.
Grow a thick skin so that you can take the rejection, because it's rarely anything personal. It could literally be that the other character is a brunette and they don't want two brunettes or something. It can literally be that finicky. You might be too tall, you know, whichever. So don't take it to heart. If you get feedback, take that on board, certainly. And yeah, if it's your dream, if it's your passion, just don't give up. It's tough out there, but it's when you get the opportunity to work, and it's just, I could have given up year one or year two. I'm year 8, and it's sort of now I'm getting the momentum for my career moving forward. So keep going.
Great. Great. And that's it. Remember that 6 Degrees of Santa will premiere November 13th only on Lifetime channel. Thank you for being with us, Kathryn, and thank you everyone for following us.
Thank you so much for having me on today as well. Hope you all enjoy it and get the opportunity to see the movie. And thank you for your support and generosity of having me on today.
Thank you. Bye.
Perfect. Bye. Take care.